What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. It's your girl Bofina1, bringing you guys essentially another POV video. Before we, what is this person doing? Anyway, before we get started, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's jump straight into it. So as you guys can see the title, right? I am talking about how online dating is kind of weird. I recently, well, I won't say recent, but I say the past 5 months or so, I've been doing online dating. I've made profiles, on various accounts, Facebook dating, Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, whatever. Not all of them, but probably more of the, I would say, bigger ones, right? And I kind of just want to get on here and essentially give my 2 cents. I guess in a way, I'm giving my Yelp review on them, and just kind of my thoughts on it, right? So for those of you who don't know, online dating is essentially a virtual way to meet people, right? So you make a profile, you take some pictures of yourself, full body, all those different things. And at the same time, a lot of time they have questions like, how old are you? How tall are you? What's your race? Do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you have kids, or do you want kids? What's your religion, etc.? And the list literally can kind of just go on and on and on and on as far as, what you'd want to put out there for dating purposes. You can even say specifics, right? So you can filter it where you're looking at people that are, I guess you could say, more in your range, distance wise. So you can date people that are maybe 25 miles or less. You can date certain people that are of certain age group, etc. And the list can kind of go on and on. But anyway, there are pros and cons to it. The pros are that I think you're able to meet people in essentially different areas that under normal circumstances, it just wouldn't have happened. So for example, let's say I live in a certain area and maybe I match with someone that lives 10 miles from me. Well, I may not necessarily be traveling in that particular area that's 10 miles from me. So I wouldn't have, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have met that person. So I do think there are a lot of good things about it. You can meet people outside of your area without necessarily having to go to a club or go to certain events. You can just kind of meet those people. The cons of it are, I think, that you tend to get a lot more people that ghost or are not as serious as they say they are. A lot of people, they get on these apps, and I think in a lot of ways they think that they're ready for a relationship or that they want a relationship, but in all reality what they really want is they want just someone that they can talk to. I guess you could say, in a sense, it's a form of companionship for a lot of people. A lot of people are not really that serious necessarily about dating. They more so just want to have someone to talk to for the night, or maybe they just want a one-night stand, right? They just want someone that they can kind of hook up with for the night, and then that's it. They're not really interested in a full-blown dating, if that, like actually being in a monogamous relationship. Another con to, I feel like, online dating is that I think it's easier for people to ghost. And ghosting is essentially when you've been talking to somebody for a period of time, not meaning like, oh, you guys talked, one time, or you only went on one date. No, ghosting means a lot of time you and that person have been talking for, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 months. You've been on probably at least 5 dates or more. And, this person, all of a sudden, they just stop talking to you. They may delete you off social media. They just essentially wipe their hands clean of you. And a lot of it has to do with, because of it being online, people, I feel like it's easier than it was back in the day. Back in the day, people actually had to really get to know somebody, if that makes sense. Like back in the day, people would go over your house. Like a guy would come pick up a woman, he would know where she lived, he would probably meet her parents. It was more personable. Now it's not as personable, which is why I think ghosting happens. I mean, it essentially happened to me not too long ago. It was a guy that I was dating for about almost 3 months. Conversation was good. We talked on the phone multiple times a week. We text quite a bit. And then we were supposed to go on a date. And then all of a sudden, he's not answering any of my calls, any of my texts. He deletes me off Snapchat, deletes me off Facebook. He even had followed me on YouTube. I don't know if he unfollowed me from there. But, you know, people do that because it's an easy way for them to end, I guess you could say, a relationship without having to go through the, I don't even want to say pressure, but I would say without having to go through the emotional, I guess, whatever you want to call it. The only thing that I say about it that I'm not a fan of, and like when people do that or when people ghost people, is that it leaves the other person hanging. And that's one thing that I think now with online dating, that just seems to be what people do. They just ghost people and don't think nothing of it. The problem is that the way the human mind works is we always want to have an answer, I guess you could say, to a problem, right? So when someone ghosts you, when you were feeling as if things were going good, the person's love bombing you, whatever, the first thing you want to think is like, well, what did I do wrong? Or why did this person just up and leave? Because they gave you no closure. So they leave that person with this kind of, as some people will call it, mental gymnastics of them trying to figure out, well, what happened? Why did this person just all of a sudden stop talking to me when everything seemed like it was going good? And so that's like the only thing, the biggest thing with online dating is I think people just throw people away. And then the other part about it is because of it, the same people that ghost are the people that come back to people months down the line wanting, you know, because they realize a lot of time when they ghost someone, most of the time it's because they actually probably might have had a pretty good relationship or conversation with that person. And then they ghost them, and then it's like, you know, you dropped the ball, you dropped the bomb, you know, like you messed up on a potentially good thing. But overall, I mean, I do think that online dating is good. I do think that there are probably more pros to it than cons if you're willing to do the correct things. If you're willing to do, you know, the right things, and right things meaning that, you know, things like not getting catfished. So some ways I feel like it that people can avoid getting catfished are asking to do a video chat before you meet up. If a person refuses to do a video chat, I would question that they're possibly like hiding something. And if that's the case, you're going to find out because the person's going to be refusing, like, oh, why can't you video chat? Because a lot of the apps now have the ability where you can video chat within them. So that's one thing that I would say, video chatting, talking to the person for more than a day. Because I think I get it, like, people don't necessarily want to be talking to someone like forever and a day as if, you know, you guys are like pen pals. But at the same time, I would talk to somebody a little bit longer than maybe just a day to kind of see if you guys can even hold a conversation. And another reason why the video chat is good too, because it allows for you to be able to see if there is any type of conversation that can be held. So, I mean, those are just a couple things that I've learned. I've also learned just with dating in general, don't put all your eggs in one basket because you might get disappointed. A person might ghost you, whatever the case is. And so the last thing you want is, you know, somebody is you in a way feeling as if you wasted all of your time with one person. I think a lot of time it hits a little bit less or not as hard when you feel as if I don't want to say like you have a bunch of options, but I would say if you don't just put all your eggs in one basket. But that's just my opinion. I just kind of want to get on here, kind of talk a little bit about my experience. For the most part, it's been nice. I have went out with other dates even after the guy that ghosted me. But yeah, that's probably the biggest con is like just people lying about like what they do or where they live and just ghosting. I just think it's just so weird. Like, my personal opinion on it is really, I just think it's weird that you can talk to people or talk to someone for months at a time and then you just kind of like throw that person away, if that makes sense, you know? And I just think it's it's just a bogus way to do somebody personally. But people do it, you know, it is what it is. But online dating as a whole, I think is a great tool. I don't know if I would use it as my only tool, but I do think it's a great tool as far as, you know, getting to know somebody, and having more of a range of people that you can get to know besides maybe just in your local area. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next POV. Peace.